Welcome everyone to this episode of the Ask Jason Gelios Show. I'm Jason Gelios, Michigan Realtor, and I want to share with you 9 legal mistakes that home sellers make. These mistakes can literally cost a seller tens of thousands of dollars if you make even just one of these mistakes. Now, before I dive into this, I want to actually disclaim my disclaimer here that I am not a legal expert. I'm not a real estate attorney. I am a licensed realtor, and these are things that I am aware of in terms of potential legal mistakes that sellers can make. However, you should always consult with a real estate attorney, not just a general attorney, a real estate attorney when you are looking for very specific legal advice, okay? So let's dive into these. So the first one is inadequate legal descriptions. If you don't have things properly described, right, in terms of the parcel ID, the property lot dimensions, right? If you're saying that your home is on 1 acre and it's really on 0.75 acres or, less, that's going to pose a problem. And so inadequate legal descriptions, okay, are a huge no-no when you're looking to sell a home. The second one is title issues, okay? If you haven't done pre-title work, which any experienced realtor will have this done, but if you're selling a home by owner, you can go through a title company of your choice and have them run pre-title on your property to make sure that there's no liens or any issues. I have seen this in pre-title where there is a lien that actually exists, and guess what? That can stall your closing, which can put the home seller can put you in a bad position, okay? So you want to make sure that you don't have any title issues. Number 3 is poorly drafted contracts. Contracts that aren't drafted properly and address every issue that could happen, okay? Actually, the most common issues, I should say. But poorly drafted contracts can put a seller and the buyer, quite honestly, into a bad legal position. If you're working with a realtor, they have access to the proper forms that cover things that ultimately cover your butt as a seller. If you are selling by owner, okay, maybe look into having, have a real estate attorney, provide the proper documents. You don't want to leave out or have contracts that are just poorly drafted and they miss something, and next thing you know, you are on the hook for something that could cost you thousands of dollars or time, which is the same, right, when you're looking to sell a home. Number 4 is accepting the highest priced offer, but you don't think about the other terms. You don't think about what else they're asking. You have multiple offers on your home and you're, okay, I want to go with the highest, okay, and that sounds great, but then you didn't catch that maybe they wanted 30 days free of, they wanted you to pay extra in terms of occupancy, right? You staying in the home after it closes, and you didn't catch that because you saw the higher price, but then you realize, oh, I gotta cover more, or maybe you as a home seller didn't recognize that they were asking for 3% credit back, right, to help with the closing costs. You just saw the higher price and jumped on it. Okay, you want to make sure that you are not just accepting an offer based on price, but on the other terms being attractive to what you want to get out of your home. Number 5 is not disclosing known defects or issues that would affect value or the desirability of the property, okay? This is a huge one. I see for sale by owners trying to sell their home on their own, and that's perfectly fine. However, they don't have a seller's disclosure with the property. So they will go to the hardware store and they will buy the for sale by owner sign and they'll put it out there and they have an open house, they have people come by. But what happens is they don't know what they're supposed to disclose, right? Like the lead paint disclosure or the seller's disclosures, where in my state of Michigan, it's 2 forms and you literally answer the questions as a homeowner. Oh, okay, how old's the roof? I don't know. How old's the water heater? What type of plumbing? Has there ever been water in the basement? Okay, that's a huge concern area, okay? If you're a seller and you know about these things, you have to disclose it. So if you don't disclose that, guess what? You put yourself in a very bad legal position, especially if you knew about water in the basement and it leaks again. Let's say within the first year of the buyer being there, chances are they're going to sue you. So you want to make sure that you have the proper disclosures in place and make sure that you are actually disclosing things that you are aware of. Like, hey, we had a leak in the basement, we had it fixed, it came with a lifetime warranty, here you go. Okay, just be open and honest with buyers. Okay, so we're on the number 6. Again, not providing the buyer with legally required disclosures. So this is, these are the actual forms that you must disclose. So if you're selling by owner, have these forms, the seller's disclosures forms, have these out for buyers. Every buyer, make multiple copies after you fill them out. Here you go, here's the seller's disclosures on my property, okay? The one I mentioned prior, number 5 is, yes, if somebody asks you, you should disclose, right? But now number 6 tells us, okay, you have to actually provide the buyer here, hand them the disclosures, okay? Number 7 is not excluding items from the sale, that are required to stay with the property. This could be anything. I follow a general rule, and that's you, the home seller, if you turn the home upside down, what would fall off and what would stay, okay? And so if you want to exclude certain things, okay, I don't know, plants outside, right? Because that, you want to unplant that and bring it to your new home. Or you want to exclude the ceiling fan, which by the way, you want to put in another one for them. But anything you want to exclude in a home sale, you want to actually spell that out. So a buyer sends over an offer, hey, okay, if they don't catch that, you want to be able to say, okay, this offer is great. However, here's what we need to do. We need to add that we are excluding this, this, and that. Okay. Now, if you're listing your home with a realtor, that would be excluded. That would be actually on the listing, as well as a separate form in the documents section, right, where the buyer would sign stating, I am aware as a home buyer buying this home that the seller is excluding these items, right? It could be more than one item. But you have to exclude the items from a sale. Number 8, not having the proper forms. So you want to make sure you have all the forms, okay? In your area, if you have to have a swimming pool addendum, which most areas do, I believe, you have to have a swimming pool addendum with your offer, okay? You have to be aware, for example, if you're selling a home, whether it's an in-ground pool or an above-ground pool, doesn't matter, or even a hot tub, they may hold a certain amount of money, escrow, to make sure that when the warmer months come, that everything is functioning properly. The filter, the heater, if you have a heater for your pool, whatever the case is, the actual structure of, let's say, the in-ground pool or even an above-ground pool, right? Because if you have a tarp over, you don't know if that liner looks good or not. You can't peek in there. You can, but it'd be tough in the winter months, okay? So you want to make sure that you have the proper forms. Is it a contingent offer? You want to have a contingency addendum there and all those terms spelled out. Is it an FHA offer or a VA offer? You want to have that addendum with your regular purchase agreement. So make sure that you have the right forms when you're selling a home. And number 9 is just flat out not knowing the process. And I'm not picking on for sale by owners, but I've talked to quite a few of them where they have the sign out in the yard and they get someone interested, and then both sides, because maybe the buyer doesn't have an agent as well, both sides don't know what to do. They're thinking, okay, what do I do? Right? How do I move forward? How do we write up this offer? And I have heard of that. So you want to make sure that you know what the process is. And it's more on the seller. Hey, listen, okay, you're interested in my property? Great. Here's what we do. Here's the forms. Here's my disclosures. Here's my an addendum if it applies, right? But you want to make sure that you have the proper forms and you know the process, right? Learn the process. What's next? After I have a buyer that's interested, what do I do? And same thing with a buyer. I want to buy this home. There's no agent involved. What do I do? Okay, this is a simple Google search, okay? But no matter what you do, you want to make sure that you understand the process, because selling a home is a big deal. And I've seen people where they just don't put that much research into it. So you want to make sure that you do the homework first, okay? They know the process. So I hope you found these tips valuable. These are mistakes that do happen, and these are some of the more common ones. If you feel that I missed one, which I'm sure there are other legal mistakes out there that aren't so common, but go ahead and share that in the comments. Otherwise, I really appreciate you watching this episode. I invite you to follow me on social media. I shared those links in the description below, and visit my websites. It's allabouttherealestate.com, as well as servingmichiganseniors.com. And by the way, the senior website is not just for Michigan seniors. It's for anyone who is aged 50 and up. There's valuable information there as well. So I'm Jason Gelios, Michigan Realtor, and I appreciate you watching.